Hey all, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, first time clicking on one of the videos, this is a 1998 Integra SIRG, the JDM GSR basically, that I'm prepping for time attack with the ultimate goal of doing a sub 1 minute at scuba. I got this car after it's been sitting for maybe 6 or 7 years and the owner just kind of abandoned hopes of doing anything with it. So I've been restoring it, not intending to actually restore it, just have to get it functional and try and pass shock in. So that's where we're at in the build right now. So just wanted to give a more recent update on like what the project is versus just going straight into the work, because I do that in every video. So yeah, if you're into that, please join and let's bring this car back to life. So yeah, here we go. We have our SST, generic Yahoo version of the crank pulley bolt holder whatever removal tool. Big thanks to you guys for getting in the comments and saying, yo, like that impact gun is not going to do it, you're going to need breaker bars. So yeah, I ended up just biting the bullet, got the tool. It was only like 20 bucks. I just didn't think I'd actually need it. So here we are. Let's try and get that crank pulley bolt loose. Actually, first, before I do that, I want to break these cam bolts loose because I have new cam seals that I'd like to put in there. So before I lose my tension, I'm going to get those broke loose. Alright, so they're both loose. Holy cow. That is some of the most foot pressure I've ever put on a breaker bar. That was crazy, but I got it to pop. All right, so the timing marks have moved on the cams because it just rotates while you're loosening it. So now I got to rotate the engine again, get it all lined back up, but at least the cam pulleys are loose and the crank pulley is loose. All right, so once the crank pulley bolt was loose, the crank pulley just slid right off, no problem. There's the keyway, don't lose that. But here's the next question I don't want to know the answer to. Are these B-series pulleys as notorious for like exploding and killing themselves in the engine like JZ ones are? So yeah, you can see it's kind of around the perimeter where the rubber is, it's all cracked. And yeah, I just don't know the history or the story with B-series, if they explode and kill everything like JZs do, or if that's normal and just send it. But you can see there's a pretty good crack around the perimeter. So I just took off this like belt retainer washer. It's a little convexy. So you put like the smooth, whatever convex part towards the belt. So now you can clearly see there's a mark on the crank there itself. And then up on the timing cover, there's that other mark. So they line up perfect. There we go. And that is, we are, top dead center. So looking at the cams, just to double check it one last time, we have the tick marks pointing directly at each other and our ups are still up. So we are top dead center, ready to undo the tensioner. All right, picking it up where we left off, I got the jack under the car, engine is supported, so I can get the mount off, but I'm gonna get the tensioner off, water pump off, yada yada. So let's do it. So you can see here's the tensioner, just gonna loosen that bolt and then that'll take tension off the belt, obviously. Water pump is here, and that is actually, it says Honda on it, maybe original or whatever, replaced it with Honda one that they did the last time. And yeah, otherwise, belt will be ready to come off since the pulley's off now after I do take off the motor mount, which is why the engine is supported. So taking a look at the old belt for a second, honestly, I don't see any obvious wear signs or signs of, cracking and getting ready to explode. Truth be told, it'd probably be fine for a while longer. I think Japan is much more regular in changing these than like America is. And if I recall, in the door here, the timing belt sticker says 107,800 or something like that kilometers, and it's been over 10 years since it was changed, and the car is at 199. Yeah, 199 now, so definitely time to change it just based on time and mileage. So happy to do it, but surprisingly it's looking pretty good. So next up, we'll get the cams taken off. Dropped my keyway, but luckily I found it. Whew. All right, so cams are off, easy peasy. You can see the keyway here, and this is just of note. One side is fatter than the other, so the skinny tapered end goes towards the engine, and then the flat side is on top, obviously. But yeah, just of note, there is an orientation for the keyway. It's not rectangular like the crank is. So with the cam gears removed, we can do a little more inspection, and I don't know if it's showing up on here, but I can see it pretty plainly here. I'll get this upper cover off. There's oil leaking around this cam seal here, so that makes me feel a lot better for taking these off, because I had no idea. Oh, they're both leaking, so heck yeah. I didn't really have any symptoms or know any signs of them being bad and leaking or whatever. I was just changing it because I was in there. And it seems like the exhaust one goes bad pretty commonly on these, I think, or something like that, but both of mine are leaking pretty darn good, so yeah, I'm happy to be swapping those out. So you can clearly see a pretty good oil leak around the cam seals, and this is where kind of like my experience up until now working on cars versus what I've seen people do online or what the factory service manual said. In the FSM, I didn't find a clear explanation of changing just the cam seals. They had everything that cams out and everything out. What they say to do and what people online are saying is you remove the cam holders, which are like your cam caps kind of, and then you get access to these front lobes here, and then like you can take that housing off and you put your new seal on, then you put your housing back on. But in order to do that, you have to re-torque and loosen all your cam caps, cam holders. And I'm not doing a full breakdown of the engine like the FSM says, which is why I think they say to do it. I'm just going to pull these out and replace them like regular seals. I don't see a lip around the housing, around the cam, like holding it in there. I just don't see the reason for undoing everything just to change the seals. So I'm just going to pull them out and replace them like every other seal I've ever changed. And then, you know, hopefully that's good. So there's a huge problem with that. You guys let me know below, but I just can't justify pulling everything to change those seals. And it looks like this big 32 mil socket is going to work as the perfect driver for the seals. So I think the only thing I might need is like a puller tool to pull the seal, because I don't really want to be picking in there and scratching the housing around it. So maybe I'll hit up Astro, try and grab that, and I'll just hold off on that for now. So anyway, that's kind of the plan there. But I'm going to pull the water pump and the tensioner right now and just get those replaced. Never heard a water pump sound like this after pulling it. A little squeak to it. Anyway, this is all just another O-ring seal, so I can just pop the new one on there and we're good to go. Alright, so I got the water pump, mating surface cleaned up. I just hit it with a little gasket scraper and then 1000 grit, Scotch-Brite. Main thing is, you don't want to scratch deep into the aluminum, But what I was finding was, because this is just an O-ring seal, you kind of still have aluminum to aluminum contact with no RTV acting as like a buffer. So there was a lot of like corrosion buildup around the surface as well. And so then for the water pump, this one is one item where I did not go OEM. I got a GMB water pump, and this was maybe $50 versus OEM being $150. So I think it's still gonna be fine. I'm not really too worried about using it because water pumps are kind of water pumps. We'll just see how it goes. You guys can really get after me if I'm wrong for this. Comparing the pumps side by side, this is an interesting difference. This is OEM Honda that I pulled off, and the new one going on. You can see the fins here, how like tall the pointed side is, and it goes straight up and then slashes over, versus here where it's, you know, tapered off on that edge. This outside edge is shorter on the Honda one, and this one is bigger or higher. Maybe it, you know, bounces itself out. It's an interesting difference, like propeller, impeller, whatever shape, you wouldn't think to be that different. So I'm not worried about it cooling, I guess. I just wonder if it's moving less volume, or it's going to cavitate more due to design, or less, or, you know, what have you. Man, that's a wrap on the day. Unexpected thunderstorm moving through the area. You can hear it going behind me. And while I was picking up, like, it's very rare to have lightning here and like a real thunderstorm, but like while I was picking up, like right across the street, there's a pole and a transformer. I'm not going out there, but like I swear I heard the lightning go like hit the pole, and like I saw the flash, and immediately like a, you know, big thunder. Oh, there we go. So it is what it is. Someday we'll have a shop, and, you know, we'll have a place to work on all this stuff and get better progress, but it's a bummer to end the video here, but trying to hit a schedule. So I want to maintain the schedule and just keep pushing forward. So catch you guys in the next one. Maybe it's a short one. Apologies for that. See you guys on Tuesday, DC Tuesday. But yeah, much love. Be well.